Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and this is also Welcome to the Internet. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the Internet, what it is, a little bit about how it works, and you're going to gain some vocabulary that you're going to use pretty much for the rest of your life when talking about the Internet or interacting with the Internet. So let's talk about our learning objectives. Today, we want to identify the differences between the Internet, the World Wide Web, and web browsers. Now, some people think the Internet and World Wide Web are exactly the same thing, and they're really not, and we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to classify domains, hyperlinks, home pages, favorites, bookmarks, plugins, tabs, browser history, downloads, uploads, all those terms you're going to learn today in this class. So, what is the Internet? Well, the Internet is a global system of interconnected mainframe, personal, and wireless computer networks that use the Internet Protocol Suite, TCP/IP, to link billions of devices worldwide. And according to Bill Gates, the Internet is becoming the town square for the village of tomorrow. Here's the thing. The Internet is really just a network, right? Last week we talked about computer networks. The Internet is the network side of online, right? It's just the physical connections. It's the computers physically connected to the other computers. That is what we mean when we say the Internet. Now, the World Wide Web, on the other hand, that is an information space where documents and other web resources are identified by URLs, or universal resource locators, interlinked by hypertext links, and can be accessed via the Internet. So here's the difference between the Internet and the World Wide Web. The Internet is like the network of roads, right, that connect your driveway to your friend's driveway to the White House's driveway, right? That network of roads is like the Internet. The World Wide Web would technically be all the places you can go using that network. So, it's the destinations, right? The World Wide Web is a collection of the websites that you can get to using the Internet, right? So there's a difference. One's a physical layer. The other is more of a, all the websites and stuff that make up the Internet or that make up the World Wide Web are on the Internet. Does that make sense? So there is a bit of a difference. Web browsers. So web browsers it's a software application that allows you to access the Internet and access websites on the World Wide Web. So a web browser essentially just reads the specific programming languages that we use to build websites, and it displays them in a way that makes sense, right? Right now you're watching this video on a website that uses some of these programming languages to deliver content to you. I guarantee if you look at the top of your screen, as long as you don't have this video, expanded and to cover your full screen. If you look at the top of the screen, you have an address bar, you have a tab open, you have a couple things. The program you used to open up to get to the Internet, that is your web browser. So there are some web browsers like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Mozilla Firefox. Opera is a browser. Safari is Apple's browser. And browsers are really just special applications that allow you to see Internet websites. Let's talk about domain names. So domain names are specific labels that are applied to websites so that we don't have to type in a whole string of, all kinds of code just to find the website we're looking for. We can just type in www.google.com and we get to Google. Instead of typing in the entire resource locator to get to the Google server that allows us to do our search. Now, so there's some old stats on here. 5 years ago. So it says in 2015, 294 million domain names had been registered. Now that's more than that now, obviously. But here's how domain names work, right? The top level domain, or the domain extension, that's the last part of the domain after the period. So right here So .com, that's the domain extension. This indicates the kind of website that you'll generally find whenever you go to that website. Now, what comes before that is www, which stands for World Wide Web. Sometimes you'll see http:// in front of a link to a website. That essentially stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Sometimes you'll see HTTPS, which is secure. That just means that that's the protocol we're using to get to that website. But you have www and then dot, and then inside the dot, or in between the two dots, you have the name of the website itself. So google.com, amazon.com, utahmilitaryacademy.org, right? There are a ton of, as I said, millions of these websites out there, hundreds of millions, if not billions, right? Now, the domain extension itself, .com, there are some others like .org, .edu, .gov, and those generally will tell you what kind of things you'll find on that website. There's a governing body for domain extensions, meaning there is a group of people who it's their job to determine whether or not you've appropriately used the right domain extension. For example, if I'm trying to sell you a product, I should be using .com, which stands for .commercial. But what if I, try to use a .org, which is .organization, and I'm still selling you a product? That might be a no-no. But these people who are kind of regulating all of the domain extensions, they can't handle the millions of websites that are being registered every year. So sometimes just because it has a .org as the domain extension doesn't necessarily mean it's a valid website. We're going to talk about that in the next lesson when it comes to validating our information on that we find online. Hyperlinks. So hyperlinks are essentially references to data that we can get to either by clicking on it or hovering over it, right? Hyperlinks basically allow us to navigate through the internet. When you click a button on a web page and it takes you to another web page, or when you click a link in a web page or in an email and it takes you to the desired place, that is a hyperlink. And without hyperlinks, we really wouldn't be able to do much. Buttons, menus, hypertext links, all of those things, these are all hyperlinks. Imagine what it would be like if, in order to use the internet, you had to type in the direct address for every page you wanted to go to. So like, even if you're on the same website, you still have to go up to the address bar and type an entire file path just to get to the right web page you want to open. People wouldn't use the internet, right? So hyperlinks makes it easily accessible to everyone of all skill levels. Homepage. Ooh, this is an old version of our homepage. Maybe I need to update this presentation. It looks fine. So a homepage is the index page of a website, meaning the first place your browser will take you to if you type in that website, right? So for example, if you type in utahmilitaryacademy.org and you built a time machine and went back before we updated our website, this is the page that you would see, right? That's the home page of our website, of our school's website. Now, other pages branch off of this main home page. So if you were to click on any of the links on that home page, it would take you to a different page. But this is the first place you go when you type in the URL or the domain name. Now, you can get directly to other pages by you can bypass the home page by using this / when you're typing in the name of the website, and then you type in whatever it is you're going to after that. If you know the direct link or you know how to get directly to the place you're going. For example, if you're going to Weber State's concurrent enrollment website, you can go to weber.edu / concurrent enrollment, and that'll take you right to it, right? So if you know what the next step is, you can pop that into your address bar and hit enter, and it'll save you a couple of clicks. Favorites and bookmarks. Speaking of saving us clicks, web browsers will allow you to save your favorite websites, save a link, a shortcut to your favorite website in the browser itself so that you can just click on it and it'll take you there. You don't even have to type it in anymore. You can just boop, click the button, and it'll take you right there. These are either called favorites or bookmarks, depending on the web browser you use. Some of them use the term favorites, some of them use the term bookmarks. Favorites and bookmarks don't save the page themselves, only a reference to that page, the address essentially. That's all it saves. So you're not saving an entire web page whenever you create a bookmark. Some browsers have a favorites bar on the top of the screen that allows you just to click on the favorite or the bookmark, and it'll take you right there. Plugins. So a plugin is a piece of software that acts as an add-on to the web browser, and it gives your browser additional functionality. Plugins can allow web browsers to display additional content that it wasn't originally intended to display. So there are a lot of different kinds of plugins out there, and if you're a Google Chrome user, you'll see this as extensions is what they call them now. And it basically just adds more functionality to your browser. Maybe your browser doesn't have a speech-to-text feature by itself, but you can install a plugin that will allow you to use speech-to-text. I saw a plugin the other day, or a Google extension, the other day that allows you to change your voice in Zoom meetings, right? So there's all kinds of cool things that you can do with browser extensions. Tabs. So tabs are different instances of your browser that are accessing different pages. All right. I remember the internet before tabs, right? I know I'm an old man, but you could only have one web page open at a time, and that was it. And if you wanted to go to another web page, you had to completely kill everything that was on that original web page and open up a new web page. It was time consuming and horrible. Now we have tabs. You can have as many tabs open as your computer can handle, and you can be doing all kinds of work. You can have a tab open here with, information about the research paper that you're writing, and then a tab over here with Google Docs open where you're writing your research paper, and tabs are wonderful. Too many tabs, however, could slow down your computer and make it work less good than it should. So if you have a kind of an older computer, or you're using a web browser that uses a lot of RAM like Google Chrome, maybe don't open too many tabs at once, right? Browser history. This is a fun topic. So your browser history is a log of every web page that you visited using that browser. So when you go to a website, your web browser will store that website, or it'll basically say you visited this website on this date at this time. You can delete your web browser history, but you can't modify it. You can't change it. You can't make it different, right? You can delete individual entries in your browser history, and you can delete the whole thing if you'd like. Some web browsers, though, allow you to delete whenever you close your browser completely. So as soon as you close your browser, your entire history goes away. Some browsing sessions, some special browsing sessions like Google Incognito mode won't even log your history as you're going to web pages. Now, some of this is good for privacy reasons. If I'm visiting my bank's website, maybe I don't want that to get logged into the browser. Maybe I want to turn off my cookies so that doesn't get stored and all of that stuff. But for those of you who are thinking about doing this for other reasons, remember, an empty web browser history is almost as obvious as the alternative. You get what I'm saying? All right. Downloads and uploads. So uploading and downloading are terms used to refer to electronic data transfers. Basically, what we're doing is, when we're downloading something, we're taking something from the internet and we're putting it onto our computer. We're bringing it down from the internet onto our computer. So if you find a picture you like online and you right click and you save as, you're downloading a picture, right? When you upload, it's the other way, right? So whenever you go to Canvas and you upload a document to turn it in as a submission for your assignment, that's an upload. That's moving files from your computer to the internet. So downloading is from the internet to your computer. Uploading is from your computer to the internet. Okay, so there was a lot of information there. Hopefully, I didn't go through it too quickly, and hopefully you guys learned a little thing, a little something or something. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you, have anything you want to add to the presentation. Thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you next time.